Hello everyone. So in this particular video we will understand about the Snowflake architecture. So in a Snowflake architecture you will see a three layer. The first layer is the data storage layer. Second layer is the compute layer. The third layer is the cloud service layer. Now when we say about the data storage layer, the first layer is right. So as in previous video also we have understood. So in a Snowflake it uses a cloud provider. It is a cloud-based data platform, right? So it uses a cloud provider. So whenever Snowflake store the data, right, it store the data into a one of the cloud service provider storage account. So suppose you are using a AWS, right? So the data will be split, data will be compressed, data will be optimized, and then it will store into this particular storage account. If you are using a Google Cloud, so in Google Cloud we have a Google Cloud storage, right? So first the data will be split, data will be compressed, data will be optimized, and then it will store into the Google Cloud storage. If you are using a blob storage, in the blob storage data will be split, compressed, optimized, and then split into the chunks, and then it will store into the blob storage. So that is the data storage layer. So whenever in a Snowflake you write any query, and if you want to save a data, right, data will be saved into the cloud storage only, and this storage is will not be visible to you. This storage will not be visible to you. This will be internal to the Snowflake. How actually you can access? You can access only through a SQL command and the SQL query. So that is the first layer. Now second layer is the compute layer. In the compute layer actual execution happens. So in this layer actual execution happens. So whenever you are writing any query, right, and that query should be executed, so that execution actually happen in the compute layer. So here we use a warehouse. So when we say warehouse, right, you can understand it like a cluster. In the cluster multiple nodes will be there, and based on that the execution will happen. And here the advantage is like you can create a multiple warehouses. So this is the second layer. And the important feature is like caching. So suppose the same kind of the query you are using again and again, so automatic caching actually it provides. So it that's why it gives the result faster. So this is the compute layer, and the third layer is the cloud service layer. In this cloud service layer, because in Snowflake we know, right, we don't manage any kind of the infra, right? So all the infra Snowflake manages. So all the infra manager, optimizer, all the security, like whether to authenticate the user, or all the result caching, right, or all the metadata information is stored. So this all the things actually in cloud service layer only it manage. Now in a Snowflake, we use a three-layer architecture. The first one is the storage layer, second is the compute layer, and third one is the cloud service layer. Now let's discuss in the detail. The first layer is the storage layer where the data actually gets stored. So as we discussed, Snowflake uses one of the cloud provider, right? So if you are using AWS as a cloud provider, so in Amazon S3 it will store. If you are using Azure, in Azure Blob Storage the data will be stored. If you are using a GCP, in a Google Cloud Storage it will be stored. Now let's discuss about the key feature, that is the important one. So what are the key feature we have? So in a Snowflake, whenever the data is stored, right, it store the data in a columnar pattern. I'll tell you how columnar storage looks like. So suppose I have a one table, ID, salary, and the country. ID is a 1, salary is a 10,000, country is a India, ID 2, 20,000, USA. So suppose this is a table. Now if you are using a row storage, first I will tell you a row format. A row, this is a, in a Snowflake we are using a columnar storage, right? But suppose in a row storage format, if you are storing a data, then how actually it will looks like? It will look like this: 1, 10,000, and then the India. This is the first row, right? Similarly for the row 2, 20,000, and the USA. Means all the rows value will come here. Suppose here we have a 100 column, right? So all the 100 values will come here. So this is the row storage. In a row format, how actually we store the data. Now coming to the columnar. So in a columnar, how actually we store the data? So suppose you have a ID column, right? So all the ID column 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Whatever the value will be here, 3, 4, all. So all it will store like this. Then we have a salary, right? All corresponding salary it will store 10,000, comma 20,000, comma 30,000, like this, all this value. Similarly, we have a country, right? Then all the India, USA, all those value it will store. So this is the columnar storage. This is a columnar storage. So in a Snowflake, how data is stored? In the form of the columnar storage. Now what is the advantage we have in a columnar storage? Now suppose I am writing one query, select sum of salary. Select sum of salary from the particular table. This is my requirement. This I want to do a calculation. Now if you are using a columnar storage, what is the advantage it will get? It will only scan this particular column because data is stored all like this, right? Salary, all the salaries value. So it will only scan this particular column and your result will be faster. Your result will be faster. But suppose you are not using a columnar storage, if you are using like this, right? In this case, what will happen? It will check all those rows. So here also salary is there, here also salary is there, right? So all those rows actually it will scan, means it will is going to scan the whole rows, everything it is going to scan, and then only it will give you the result. But here if you need only salary, the specific column it will go and it will give you the result. So that's why it is faster. So in a Snowflake we store the data in a columnar pattern, and it will give you the faster query, and the performance also will be faster. Now second key feature is like micro partition. So data generally is split into the smaller chunks like 16 MB. It is automatically managed. No manual partition is needed. So whenever data stores into this one of the storage, right? Whenever we use a Snowflake, data generally will be split into a smaller chunks, and it is automatically managed by a Snowflake itself, and it will store the data into the storage account. The third one is like compression. So it will compress the data and then only it will save the data into the storage account. So that is the third thing. The fourth is the immutable. Data generally is not updated. It will create a new version and then only it will save the data into the storage. So these are the key features we have. As we understood, because of the columnar storage, right, it will give you the faster result. The second is the micro partition. So in the form of the chunks only it will store the data, and you do not have to worry about the partition and all. It will handle automatically. The third one is the compression. Because it will compress the data and it will store the data, that's why it will, from the cost perspective, right, also it is very useful, and also it will improve the performance because we are compressing and we are storing the data. From the immutable perspective, it will help you from the time travel perspective because we are not updating the data every time the new versions will be created. Now suppose you want to go into the previous version of the particular data, right, you can easily go. So these are the key features we have. Now second is the compute layer. Compute layer where actually your query will be executed. So in Snowflake we use a virtual warehouse. We create a virtual warehouse. What is warehouse? It is kind of the compute cluster, you understand, which will have a multiple nodes, and that actually will be utilizing for executing the query. When we say cluster, right, that will have a CPU, that will have a memory, and that will be utilized for the executing the query. So this is a compute layer where your actual query will be executed. Now what about the key features? So the first key feature is like independent compute. Now in a traditional system, what generally happens? So suppose I am we have a ETL team, we have a data engineering team, ETL team, we have a BA team, right? Now in a traditional system, we use only one cluster. We use only one cluster. Everyone use the same cluster. Now everyone is accessing in the same time, right? In this case, your cluster will be slow, and your query performance also will be slow only. So this is a traditional system. Now how Snowflake is helping here is like we have an option to create a multiple warehouse. So you can create one warehouse for your ETL team. You can create one warehouse for your BA team. Like this, for every team you can create a multiple warehouse. So they will only access this particular warehouse. They will only access this particular warehouse. In this case, you will not see any kind of the performance issue, because they are utilizing their own warehouses. They are not sharing the warehouses. So that's how actually it helps. So independent compute, that is one of the key feature. Second is the auto scaling. So based on the requirement, it scale up the size, whatever the cluster we use, right? So based on the requirement, it will scale out, multiple nodes will be assigned to this. So that is the second feature. The third feature is like start and stop. So suppose you are using this warehouse only in a daytime, you are not using it on the night time, right? Now you have a option to start the cluster, you have a option to stop the cluster. If in the night you are not using, right, then you can stop the cluster. So in that case you can save the cost. So that is the again one of the advantage. The four is the caching. So suppose you are running the same kind of the query, same kind of the SQL query again and again. So in this case, what Snowflake will do, it will store the this query result in the form of the cache. Now next time when you will execute the same query, right, it will fetch the data directly from cache and it will give you the result. So that's how actually it will be faster. So these are the different key feature we have in a compute layer. Now next is the cloud service layer. What it does, it controls everything. So it is like a brain. What is the responsibility is like query parsing and optimization. So it will create a execution plan like how your query will be executed. So this is the responsibility of the cloud service layer. It will manage all your metadata, like what your table structure contains, how your table structure looks like, all the metadata management and all, right? This layer actually it does. Security. So suppose you are writing one SQL query, right? One, so this user is whether authenticated or not. So all those RBAC control and all from the all the security perspective, which layer actually it helps? This cloud service layer only it manage. Next is the transaction management, where it support the asset property, access controls, roles and the permission, right? Query or coordination. Everything is managed by a cloud service layer itself. Now let's discuss how the whole thing works. Now whenever user write any query, so suppose I am a user, I am writing any SQL query. So this SQL query, right, first it will go to the cloud service layer. It will go to the cloud service layer. In the cloud service layer, first it will authenticate the user, whether user has a proper permission or not, right? So it will check that. So all the security and everything, authentication and everything, cloud service layer first it will check, and it will also optimize the query. So that is the work of the cloud service layer. Now once it will authenticate, once it will optimize the query, it will go into the compute layer. In the compute layer, where we have a warehouses, right? So with the help of the warehouses, we will execute the query, and then it will be stored into the storage layer. So it will compress the data, it will in the columnar format, it will store the data into the storage layer, and finally result will be returned back to the user. So that's how the whole execution will happen. First user will submit the SQL query, it will go to the cloud service layer where all the authentication will happen, all the optimization will happen, then it will send back to the compute layer where actual query execution will happen. Then in a storage layer, it will store the data in a columnar format and in the compressed format, and it will store the data in a storage layer. So that's how the whole flow works. Now why this architecture is powerful? Because here we have a separation of storage and compute. So generally what happens, suppose if it is tightly coupled, so suppose you have a storage as well as a compute, and if it is tightly coupled, right? Now as of now my requirement is like to use 100 GB of the storage, and for this I am using suppose memory like 128 GB memory something. Okay, suppose I'm just taking example. Now in future my requirement got increased, like I need a 200 GB. So if it is a tightly coupled, if the storage and compute is tightly coupled, right, even though you only have to increase the storage, right, then compute also you have to increase. So this is the case when your storage and compute both are tightly coupled. If you are increasing the storage, then you also have to increase the compute. But in the case of the Snowflake, right, the storage and the compute is independent. These are separated. Now if you have to increase the storage from 100 to 200, you can easily do that. You do not have to touch the compute part. So that's why separation of storage and compute, it's very useful. You can do independent scaling, no performance issue will occur. Second is the high concurrence. We can use a multiple user, no conflict, because you can create a multiple warehouses. So high concurrency it provides. Third is the cost optimization. You can stop the compute whenever you are not using. Suppose you are only using in a daytime, right? You can use that. In a night time you can stop that. That's how actually you can optimize the cost. Fourth is the zero maintenance, means you do not have to worry about the infra management and all. Everything is managed by a Snowflake itself. So this is the architecture which Snowflake provides. I hope you got the high level idea of the Snowflake architecture.